What's a popular thing that you have literally no interest in whatsoever? Any sort of singing reality TV, such as The Voice or The X Factor. Couldn't care less. That's how I feel about the dancing shows such as Dancing with the Stars. I like to watch dancing, but I'd rather watch professionals than people who've trained for a couple months trying to keep up with professionals. B. Too much of the dance styles I'm not interested in, and C. Rarely is there ever even one interesting celebrity on it. Screw it, I'll just look something up on YouTube. Those hoverboards. First of all, it's not a hoverboard, it has wheels for frick's sake. Second of all, a Segway without a handle is still a freaking Segway. I hate them because for some reason they put the tag unicycle on them and they flood Craigslist with them, so I can't find actual unicycles. That's one of the oddest and most unique complaints I've ever heard. The entire Kardashian/Jenner family. I see more people complain about news stories about them than I actually see news stories about them. And people complaining about them are more annoying than them. I don't watch cable TV or read trashy magazines, so I basically have no exposure to them except for occasionally seeing one of them on the cover of a magazine I don't even read. The Reddit "The Kardashians are so annoying" comments and posts are the only places where I see them mentioned, and it's far more annoying than any other exposure to that family. They're really not that bad. Trashy, yes, but aside from that, man, who cares? Just ignore them. Candy Crush. I don't know how popular it is anymore, but I remember for a while everyone was playing it. I did not get why people loved it so much. It was just basically Bejeweled. I liked it because unlike the versions of Bejeweled I played, you only had so many lives, so you play it for 15 minutes and then you're done instead of getting totally sucked in. That is exactly why I thought it was terrible. If I'm having fun or on a plane or something, then let me play the damn game all I want. Twitter. Never had an account. Always thought it was overrated. Twitter is great to get help from companies who are otherwise ignoring you. I made a Twitter just to bish about my poor experience with United, losing a whole day of vacation due to a cancellation because they were lacking staff, and then they rebooked me for a super long convoluted flight itinerary the next day and wouldn't even put my boyfriend and I together despite seats being available for it. After complaining on Twitter, they hooked me up with a more direct flight and better seats. Not sure why the desk agent couldn't have just done that to begin with, but Twitter is definitely effective in getting better customer service as a last resort. That's literally the only use I've ever had for it though. You have made the only valid argument for Twitter that I've ever heard. The Walking Dead. People love it so much but it just bores me to death. I have no interest in seeing a show about zombies and people dealing with drama. If Reddit were a reliable measurement of TWD's popularity, you'd think that only Robert Kirkman and his mother watch and enjoy the show. Do they have the same feeling towards the Telltale games? Or just the show? Instagram. I'm just not that crazy about sharing pictures, and I'm not any good at taking them either. You would fit right in. As an avid Instagram user, I head pretty hard at this. So true. Football. Who do you support? I don't care. Oh. Based on your use of the word support, I'm guessing you're talking about soccer. But I feel just the same about American football. I just can't force myself to give a crap when it's on. You need to have a favorite team first. Without rooting for someone, it's hard to care. A friend explained NASCAR like this to me. I don't have a fab driver, so it's just rednecks driving 500 miles in a circle to me. Casual sex. I have no desire to have sex with someone that I'm not interested in getting to know. I'm with you here. I'm a relatively attractive guy, nothing special but not ugly. Point is, if I had wanted to sleep around in my teens/early 20s, I could have. I didn't though for this reason. I'm married now and have kids, so I'm not the neck, but it would sound like. Allow me to expand further as to the reasons I've never seen sex as a need to get off thing. I've always seen it as something you do for the other person too. Sure, they can make you orgasm, but hub can do that too. You have to have some form of connection that goes further than meeting and screwing. You have to both want to please each other for the sex to mean something. Further explained, animals have sex because they want to procreate or just because it's a primal instinct. Humans, I'd like to think, have evolved past that and have sex for pleasure, but for it to be a little deeper than just sex. I feel the same way, coming from a woman's point of view. Sex is fun, but it's fun mostly because of the connection you have with the other person. Doing it with a stranger doesn't have that appeal. If it was just about the physical, it's easier to get yourself off alone and not risk an STD/pregnancy scare. I'm actually a little sad that casual sex has become so accepted it's now seen as expected. I'm all for it if you want to, but now it can be hard to find people who want to be in some sort of relationship before taking that step. It's done a 180 from the expectations of a generation ago. Football. I have absolutely no problem with other people enjoying and watching it, but I find it very dull to watch. People react like I'm some sort of monster when I say I don't want to watch 2016 Euros. Lol. Thought you mean football, but you meant football. Thanks for clearing that up. Snapchat. Okay, but serious question. Have you tried it? Because I felt the same way for a long time, but I finally caved to peer pressure, and it's actually the best way to keep in touch with my siblings who live across the country. I definitely don't snap every second of my life, maybe a few times a day, but I feel like my siblings are much more present in my life, and me and this, because I can see what they're doing here and there throughout the day. Also naked pictures, I should clarify, not with my siblings. I just leave my naked pictures on the ground at the mall food court like in the good old days. Overwatch. It looks cool, but it's not my cup of tea. I thought the same until I played it. Bloody love that game. But unfortunately I have to spend about $1,100 if I want the game and a new PC that can handle it. Because I'm not gonna get another junker. When I buy that'll be obsolete in a year or two. The current PC game Linux isn't good enough to warrant that kind of purchase imo. I'm happy with my consoles. You don't need an $1,100 PC to play Overwatch at a decent frame rate. As a white early 30s female in the South, I have no interest in The Bachelor, Starbucks, overpriced handbags, Lily Pulitzer, wearing pearls, wearing my initials on everything, CrossFit, yoga, and anything gluten-free. I very rarely have much in common with other moms at my kids' extracurriculars. I do however love Disney and Pop-Tarts, so I'm great at conversing with their kids. Username checks out. TV in general, I get bored so fast watching stuff. I need to be doing something, so I usually just play video games instead. TV is for background noise. Having the TV on for background noise gives me a headache. I'd much rather just have on music. Facebook. Never had an account, never going to. I always get so aggravated when Facebook wants me to sign in. I don't have an account, I just want to see a business page. Or when a website wants you to sign up using Facebook, or literally any competition. To enter, simply like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, give us your full internet browsing history, sacrifice your first child, and you're in the draw to win $500. Tattoos. I just don't get it. There isn't anything I like enough to make it a permanent part of my body. I once heard a heavily tattooed man compare tattoos to scars. They're reminders of a certain time of your life, a way you used to be, that you don't want to lose touch with. Sure, that Hello Kitty tattoo might be embarrassing when you're 30, or 50, or 80, but isn't that kind of the point? To keep yourself humble, to stay in touch with your past self, to retain some sliver of who you once were, lest your memories become rose tinted with time. We should all be slightly ashamed of who we were when we were young and foolish, but considering that we are consistently becoming less young and foolish with each passing day, isn't it important to remember that to a past version of ourselves it wasn't foolish, but was in fact incredibly valuable and important to us? For the record, I have no tattoos myself, but I totally understand the appeal and wholeheartedly disagree with anyone who claims that you will regret that when you're older. Nah, my brain likes to remind me of embarrassing times randomly throughout the day, to keep me humble and to remind me to check myself. So far it's done a pretty fine job and I feel tattoos would only prime those memories more often. Getting offended by every little thing seems like a popular thing to do nowadays. I don't have the energy to be angry all the time. A friend of mine has this husband who is a hardcore Trump supporter / right wing / conservative Christian who constantly posts about how libtards get their fifis hurt over the smallest things. I get along with him in real life. Funny he doesn't spout that crap out in person, just online. I hid his feed, but for some reason, if he tags my friend in his post it still shows up. Well, one time he posted a video of a kid lighting a cigarette with a glass of something on fire. Then he knocks the glass over in his lap and sets his crotch on fire. The guy said something like another good reason to vape. And I replied, we get it, you vape lol, dude lost his crap. He sent 3 replies to my comment calling me all sorts of names and insults. I texted my friend and had to give her this whole big apology, and she was apologizing to me for his behavior, and I'm like, really? This guy makes fun of people who are offended about basic human rights being taken away from LGBTQ people, but gets his fifis hurt over a joke about vaping? All of my what? Indeed. The most hardcore Trump supporters in my family, who piss and moan about PC culture, get their knickers in a knot over the teeniest tiniest little things. They are literally the most fragile things I've ever seen. Pointing out their need for a safe space is almost worth the drama. Gun ownership. Not super popular everywhere, even in the US. But being ex-military, every other vet I meet is flabbergasted when I don't want to talk about their collection or hang out at the range and pop off a few rounds with them. I always regarded guns as tools for the mission, so to me, it's a bit like someone getting really into hammers and screwdrivers as a hobby. Only they don't build anything with them, they just hammer nails and turn screws over and over for practice. Your description of hammer and screwdriver collection practice appeals to me for some reason. I should have a wall and workbench where I restore old screwdrivers and practice a musclegion, or whatever that is. Dabbing. What the actual hell, people? You're basically fake sneezing. I know it's just a trend, but it is a popular thing right now. Can someone explain this to me? The only definition of dabbing that I'm familiar with involves marijuana. The only definition that I'm familiar with involves lightly pressing something like a towel on something else like a stain. Clash of Clans or any related games. I remember 3 years ago when Clash of Clans was a huge fad at my school. Surprisingly enough, it lasted longer than the other fad mobile games. Everyone just moved on to the next game Supercell makes before they get bored of it. Alcohol, unnecessary calories, dehydration, bad choices, vomit, hangovers, and scientifically proven to stunt creativity. Overall, one of the most boring and useless drugs. It helps mask crippling depression. Anime. The problem with anime is that most of the well-known ones are crap. They have the same stupid plot about an average looking guy that just so happens to be completely overpowered and well liked by every big titted character for 100 miles. Damn, I hate those, they ruin everything. Why you gotta crap on Bleach like that, bruh? Law and Order. That show is just so long and depressing. Why? Because in the criminal justice system, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. In New York City, the dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit. These are their stories. I disagree. In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by 2 separate, yet equally important, groups: the police, who investigate crime, and the district attorneys, who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories. Going to parties / clubs. I barely go to those things, and when I do it's 100% peer pressure. Just go out, mess up your nice clothes, blow all your money, meet 0 people, talk about garbage and go home. It'd probably be fun if I could pull a girl every single time, but I can't, so mess that crap. I'd rather play a game or watch a film. At least I know I'll enjoy that. To be fair though, if you're not having fun you're not gonna pull any tail. League of Legends. I'm a hardcore gamer, and I think that game is a huge waste of time. Never gave it a try. Never will. Edit. Typo because I played Overwatch for 9 hours and was tired. That is a strange thing for a gamer to say. I mean, you certainly don't have to like any game, but to call it a waste of time seems harsh. Is any time enjoyed wasted? As soon as I see any hardcore gamers say a game they never played is a waste of time, I just assume that they are trolling or retarded. Selfies. I have a good friend who takes a selfie at least once every 5 minutes. She's a gorgeous girl, but has next to no self-esteem due to her weight. She relies on compliments on Snapchat and Facebook to feel good about herself. I can't have a conversation with her without her losing interest and completely ignoring me while she takes a goddamn selfie. It's such a socially acceptable form of narcissism and I just don't get it. Marijuana. No problem if you want to smoke. Even smoke around me doesn't bother me. Zero interest in partaking myself.